Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading session. Hold on here 1 second while I share my monitor with you. The market has made a rather substantial opening gap this morning. For those of you who like to watch opening range gaps, this is a doozy. We'll take a look here at the Raptor. You can see well, pretty much since the market left off yesterday, the Asian session relatively quiet, but with the London Open, market fell off rather substantially, tried to recover, and here we are. So just above the market left off yesterday at, I've got the figure here, 44.16, and it's opening down here around 43.94.95. So really big opening gap up here. It will be interesting to see whether or not they're going to try to recover and get into the gap, which I think might be an early premise. It's hard to tell it's always hard to tell whether a gap is what's referred to as an expansion gap or whether it is a gap to fill. Here we are on the Raptor. I'm going to take a plunge. I'm going to buy the Raptor. We just tripped the signal here. This is essentially a soft edge buy. To be safe, I could have gone in with a single contract, but I'm going to take the plunge here, see whether or not they recover. Now, the soft edge buy occurs or is always preceded on the Raptor by this little itty bitty retest of the lows and the failure, and then the market hopefully trying to head higher. So that's what we're on the lookout for here right now. Perhaps it would have been better to enter above the high, above this little swing high. We're getting a comparable signal here on the Falcon. For those of you who don't have the Raptor, we're getting a quick little trend change signal here on the Falcon. And what you could do is you could take it a tick above the high. Oops, that's a little bit out of reach. Let's try that again. Oh yeah, something's wrong with my Falcon. I forgot. I'll need to adjust that. So you could do the same trade here with the Falcon as what we're looking at on the Raptor. And you could try to run it out if you chose. I think it's important to try to cover below that low though. And of course, it's all very early. All right, so there we go. So we're coming up on the primary support line, feeling a little bit of resistance. You can see the market flinched back here, hit it right on the number. Also had a reaction back here. And we're only 3 or 4 minutes into the session, so very early. This is really one of those test the water type trades to see whether or not we're going to get some follow through here. So very important bar forming here at the moment between the buyers and sellers. There we go. So if you were inclined to be on the more cautious side, this bar right here, which has a little bit of width to it, and this tail, that would be a good one to roll your stop below if you were inclined to, oh, there we go, we hit our profit target. I was going to say if you were inclined to give the market a little bit more room, you could roll below your little swing point right here. But it's a moot point as the market rallied and hit our profit objective. We do have a runner going here in the Raptor trade. So we've also hit our first profit objective. We have a runner in play now at break even. And I'm going to switch over from the swing strategy to the ATR. And if we get some traction here, if it looks like we're going to get up around, say, oh, let's take a look at our support and resistance suite. Let's see where that median line is sitting. So around 4407 is the median line on our support and resistance suite. I'll probably go to something like parabolics. Nice first micro macro cross signal here on the hawk. This is one of those that you kind of take on a leap of faith based more or less on what you're seeing on the other charts, because here on the hawk we had a very small retest of the lows right here. So not a lot to help tell you that perhaps a bottom is in. But so far so good. Gary asks, what tick size do you use for the crude Raptor? I use the default tick size, Gary, so pretty much how it comes out of the box. The only thing that I change is I add a double cloud. I've gone over it before in the room. If you don't know how to add a double cloud, just let me know. I'll show you how to put it on. My one cloud is at 8 ticks, the other one is at 12. But other than that, it's the default settings. All right, we're starting to get a little bit closer. What do we have here for open profit? How much of that do I want to hold on to? Well, a lot, I think. Yeah, let's go with parabolics. Parabolics are pretty close to where the ATR is at. And of course, the nice thing about parabolics is they will tighten up if the market starts to flinch a little bit here. The only one more aggressive than parabolics is this bar high-low strategy that we have. And we're starting to see a little bit of a reaction to this swing high back here. This one also here. Ideally, the market will just make a quick little swing or no swing at all. Make it really easy on us this morning. Good morning, Jim. Jim says, as far as the advanced decline goes, we got about 600 on the buy and 2,000 on the sell. But remember, folks, we have that huge opening gap, so that's going to severely skew your advanced decline numbers. What I'm keeping an eye on right now is gold, because for the most part, gold has been opposite the stock index. So gold's almost looking like it's going to try to go higher. Crude oil just took a little bit of a dip lower. And you can see again from the width of this bar that there's a fair amount of conflict here. All right, maybe I'm just going to give them the one bar. I'll go with the bar high-low. There. That's it. That's all we're going to give them. So I'm basing my stops on this rather heavy bar, the one with the tail to it. know, there was a fair amount of trading going on here from the width of the bar. And if they fail at this point, well, then it's probably going to be time to go. Yeah, it looks like the sellers are starting to pile it on a little bit. The gold not overly aggressive just yet, but we're going to get tagged here in a moment, which will be okay. It was a decent little run up. All right. So a little bit of a reaction now to that high right there, but the market, a little bit of a bullish start to the day, which is nice. Now the big question will be, will it hold? Sure, Jim's asking for a gold chart. Oh, I don't know if you want to see it on the Raptor, Jim, or just here on the Falcon. So gold kind of waffling a little bit in the overnight. And then here we are right now trying to make a trend change on gold. It keeps waffling back and forth. When they opened this morning, gold would have opened right here at 5:20 my time. So kind of sideways, a little bit of a trend change to the downside, not that much follow through. You can see after the signal triggered, started introducing a lot of green dots. Now we're taking a bounce off of the primary resistance actually. All right, here comes another signal on the Raptor. We had a nice little macro pullback signal here on the Hawk. That would have been worth trying because we've got all this room to the highs, and before the market changes direction, we know there's going to be a reasonably good attempt to recover the high or to recover the new trend. So you could probably have risked it, even something like this, and you can see that's well within the range of the high. So even if the market decided to fail at this point, you still managed to scalp in and out with a very tidy profit. Now, of course, we're closer to the top end of this trading range, makes things a little bit more difficult. There they go. We're still getting some follow through. Good little trend line touch here in the Falcon. So the market retreats into the trend line. Also supported by the primary support line. And here our profit objective would be pretty close to, oh darn, I've done something to my trade manager. Hold on a second here. Here our profit objective would be very close to our median line. Looks like we would have hit our break-even trigger, and now we would be flirting with a break-even stop. Crude oil in a little bit of a sideways drift. Here's crude oil on the hawk. You can see we're starting to introduce more yellow bars. We're starting to lose some downward momentum. See, even, pardon me, if you draw these lines along the legs of these down moves, you get a real quick visual of the sideways drift, right? We've lost our downward momentum. We're starting to retrace higher, actually, if we reverse this now and we show the up legs. See how it almost appears as though the buyers are starting to gain some momentum? This one, a little bit short. This is usually the one, this third one is usually the one that you see, start to go like this, and then it's all of a sudden, oh, I see what's going on here. We're starting to get a little bit of an uptick. We don't have that just yet, but normally, if you look back in your charts, you're going to see that's what happens. I don't know if that's a new button or not. A zoom button. I can't say I ever noticed that before. Jim asked, how long has Adam owned the DTS system? I believe it was a different name. Well, Indicator Warehouse actually developed the DTS system, so I guess ever since DTS has been around, what's that been now, 3 years? Indicator Warehouse, I think, has been around 5 or 6. He started offering, different indicators and stuff. Of course, that's how Indicator Warehouse came to be. But then there were certain things that he wanted the software to do that he couldn't find, so he set about to have it built. In particular, the Trade Manager, that's his brainchild, that baby. Oh, it did too. Jim says gold just gapped and took out a bunch of stops. Let's take a look here. This is the gold falcon that we were just looking at. Didn't get a signal here. We did get a real quick signal on the hawk, which I'm not going to pull over, but it'll be pretty easy to identify. It's unfortunate it did unfold so quickly because we would have normally seen a trend change signal right about here, right about on this bar. So real quick move there. Even though the falcon didn't signal, we did get signals on the eagle and the hawk, and I don't know what I was looking at that I missed this, but a very nice rule of 3 type signal followed by a real quick trend change, followed by even a faster move up. So I do believe any of those would have hit their profit objectives. Oh no, not yet. But with gold is one of these markets that I tend to double the profit target on. So gold trying to get some traction after a couple of days of trading lower. Here's the NQ now. No real clean signal. I don't think it's anything I really want to get involved with. I'm going to point it out to you. We've got a soft edge sell now here on the Raptor. We did get the market to pay off to the long side, so I'm not real keen on shorting it, but if you wanted to, throw a little onesie in here or, dial down your risk amount, you've got a soft edge sell here. There is a chance the market's going to try to retest the lows of the morning. This, of course, is going to be the big obstacle right here. The low at 43.97 3/4, so essentially 43.98. Yeah, just hanging out. You could also see this as a bit of a head and shoulders type formation. It's going to look like that. Now with the head and shoulders, there's two ways to trade it. So this is what makes it a head and shoulders, and what you normally do is you draw your lines across the lows or the highs, as the case may be. The first way to trade the head and shoulders is on the initial break. So what you would be looking at is you'd be looking for a breakout of these lows. So there's method number one. Method number two, which tends to be the most reliable way to trade a head and shoulders type setup, is to let it break, let it retest, and then look to short it. Big surprise, huh? And this is also the problem with trying to trade counter trend. If you had tried to short it, we did get a double pullback here, came out, produced a signal right there. And of course, we're trying to get higher. We're not higher yet. But whenever you concentrate on counter trend signals, you're always leaving yourself stuck for a with trend signal when you get one. Pardon me. Getting a little bit of sideways overlap now, which I'm not real happy about. See how the market is starting to drift. We're getting something resembling a trading range. So, well, technically that's a first micro macro cross signal. I suppose you could try it above the high. It's going to offer up about 4 or 5 ticks to get your entry, so about halfway to your profit objective. This might be not the best looking of trades, but the type of trade, if you're going to try it, maybe you'll put a onesie on it, maybe try to risk it down there. Okay, stops at break even. Should we try to run it out? Let's see if we can run it. We've got a break even stop, why not? So where did I say the market opened this morning? Around 44.15. We're getting awfully close to filling in that gap, or pardon me, not where the market opened this morning, where it left off yesterday. around 44.15. Come on, there we go. So we do have our scalping target, our scalping profit, which, hey, it's $50 sitting there ready for you to grab. So don't be shy about not taking it. Being a little bit maybe overly aggressive on this trade. Trying to sneak a couple more dollars, and they're going to tag me here in a moment at break even. Oh, might have caught a break. All right, I'm going to go in with the bar high-low strategy. I'm not going to give them too much room here. Protect the open profit as I earn it, or as much of it as I can anyway. There's 44.15, so we've pretty much filled that gap. Huge, huge gap, huge rally to start the morning. Come on, get up there. Oh no! Well, we've pretty much protected as much profit as we can here. You can see the width of this bar. It was pretty much inevitable that they were going to slip a little bit here and stop us out. The ATR strategy would still hold us in, but you know what? I just did not feel like leaving any extra profit on the table. All right, so a pretty good morning so far. The buyers seem especially strong this morning. Maybe even a little bit too strong. I don't know if we're going to see a little bit of a reaction here now, maybe a possible pullback of sorts. If you are long on some of these signals, you may want to consider keeping your stop nearby. Here on the Falcon, you can see we came off of the secondary support, bounced off the primary support right through the median line. It had a little bit of a reaction there, but nothing really to hold the market all the way up here to the primary resistance. And now we're seeing that reaction. Okay, well, we're just kind of waiting them out here. Not much going on at the moment. Gold slipping a little bit. Crude oil trying to get a little bit higher. I'm snooping around here trying to find something, but there's not much going on. We do have a possible trend change on the first micro-macro cross here in crude oil. I don't want to get too crazy on it though. Gold has retreated into the hard edge, as has crude oil, but the problem is crude, as you can see, has been in a little bit of a downtrend, at least for the last day, or at least for this morning. So it's, just to get crazy and start buying might be a little overly aggressive at this point. And to buy above the high here at 4130-ish, that's kind of, well, that's well removed from our signal. Our signal would print around 4120. Our profit target would be 4130. But I'm keeping an eye on it. It's looking as though crude may try. Crude may try to get up, get a little bit higher. It's an odd type of morning. See now, here we are with the hawk doing that sideways drift again. It's not as pronounced. Working on a 4-arrow consolidation of all things. It does not have that nice little bull flag to it that I like to see. Rather, this one has that sideways drift. Ay, chihuahua. And now we're into a macro pullback. All right, so it is a signal. It's with trend. It is not a warm fuzzy signal, but if you were looking for a chance to retest the highs, there you go. You got yourself a macro pullback and a 4-arrow consolidation. Give me one more bar higher. Come on. If I get 2 bars in a row here, I will consider bringing my stop up really tight. I will assume that if I get 2 bars moving higher, that this little itty bitty bottom that we see here around the 44.10, 44.11 mark will hold. Right now, I don't have that confidence. In fact, right now I'm thinking the market's going to try to move lower, probably back to that 44.07 line where we have our median line. Come on. Get up there. Same thing going on here in crude oil. You got yourself a macro pullback style signal. I would throw a onesie on it because, well, hey, for starters, it's crude oil. And because we don't have a real well-defined trend change just yet. Come on, get up there. Come on, one more bar, and then I'll start rolling my stops. Because I don't trust crude. Come on. You Stinkers. Get up there. All right, well, we'll just let that work itself out. And we did get a couple bars higher here. Not quite to our break even yet, but that's enough for me to consider rolling my stops in. There we go. We got our break even. Come on, don't stop now. There we go. Oh, whew, that was hard work. Oh, I didn't think we were going to make it there for a second. This is the last press now at the highs. And if you're looking at that crude oil trade, you may want to roll your stop in below that itty bitty swing also. If it fails at that point, well, the buyers are probably done. You may as well take your medicine early or just rip that band-aid off. Ooh, I always hated that. I was always the kid who had to peel the band-aid off slowly. Oh, I hated ripping it off. Ooh, that hurt. All right, so we're floundering on the highs. You can see this as a double top, if you will. Here, let me expand the chart. It's easier to see. You can see it as a double top, if you will. Obviously, the resistance is seeming to hold. So far, the support area is seeming to hold. But I really think we're going to see a little bit of a move lower. We're working on our second macro pullback signal now. As you know, within a trend, we normally only see two macro pullback signals. So that too is suggesting that maybe, just maybe, we're going to see a little bit of a move lower. I don't think we're going to get a full-on trend change. That's certainly not what I'm suggesting. I think the buyers have this market in hand today. Well, today. We're an hour or half hour into the session, 40 minutes into the session. But a retrace to the hard edge does seem feasible. The hard edge also parked at around 44.07 and the Eagle hard edge at 44.03. So we do have a little bit of room here to drift. And there they are with their drifting. So working on a possible red bar buy signal on the hawk. A possible trend change here on the Falcon and a possible soft edge sell on the Raptor. So a few things suggestive of a trend change. With the red bar buy, because we've already got a double top in play, I think I might be more inclined either just to use it as an early warning that the trend is changing or to set up for the failure. I'm going to show you the failure here if it fails. Wow, those bulls are strong. So you see, there's another reason why you don't want to get too crazy on the short side. These buyers, they mean business. Some of the reviews I read about the Apple release yesterday were not all that flattering, but hey, maybe it was. Maybe it was better received than all the naysayers are saying. And goodness knows there's no shortage of those guys. Oh, look at that. So that red bar buy did have better follow through to it than I suspected. And here we are putting in a new high. The advanced decline getting a little bit stronger. 900 on the buy, 1800 on the sell, Jim says. So that's more bullish relative to where we started. But of course, we can see that on the chart as well. So crude trying to put in a rally. And gold actually falling a little lower. Here we had a very nice little late filter entry signal on gold right here. So we had the trend change signal produced right here, and a few minutes later we had the late filter entry signal. The late filter entry signal occurs when the filter goes out of sync and comes back into sync. Very important. It has to come back into sync. We produce a signal, but the trend line the whole time never changes color. It tends to be a very high probability signal, although you see on this side here to the upshot, it didn't have the follow through. Here's actually a late filter entry signal that failed. Or, well, I say it failed. I do double the profit objective in gold. Let's see whether or not we would have hit our high probability target. No, still came up short. So it's a great signal. Unfortunately, it's not a 100% signal. This one, we would have hit our high probability target. Yes, we did. So they're waffling a little bit now in gold. Crude oil rejecting that hard edge on the eagle. Well, rejecting is a strong word. Hasn't stayed above the hard edge. Drifted above, produced a signal, came down, is trying to produce a green bar sell signal. It's against the ATR line, so I'm not going to short it just yet. I'm going to use that ATR as a filter. And of course, we're back down here toward the yesterday's lows, it looks like. This is interesting. Look at this. We got two red bar buy signals. Now, the red bar buy signal tends to occur near the end of a trend. So I'm going to look at shorting this one. It's rare that you get more than two red bar buys within a trend, or at least two red bar buys that have any serious follow through to them. So the market broke out of this range. So for those of you who can't envision it, there we go. So the market broke out of the range, came back to retest the breakout, but it's drifted right back into the middle of this range. It's a small range, so drifting to the middle may be enough for the buyers to recover it. Generally speaking, the deeper the market drifts into the range, the less chance the buyers are going to have to recover the trend or recover the breakout. Normally what you want to see is ideally, textbook, you see the market break out, retest the top end of the range, and then continue higher. If it drifts a little ways into the range, that's okay too. And it's all relative. Like if our range was this deep, well, this would still be in the top end of the trading range, even though it's drifted, a little bit deeper than the highs, than the resistance on the highs. But because our range is relatively narrow, you can see that we've drifted about the middle of that trading range. And that may be too deep for the buyers to recover the trend, which is why I'm thinking, all right, if it fails here, that could be a decent little short. And, alternatively, you could use it just as a early warning that if the market does change trend here, we're going to produce a first micro macro cross lower. But we have obvious buying support here, obvious buying support down here, and now a little bit more buying support here. So if this level fails, we could see a little bit of a follow through to the downside. In fact, I might just leave it in as a runner. Let's see if I can get two contracts in there. And I'll put one on as a runner. I can too. So here are the buyers once again trying to support this zone. If the sellers knock them down and it fails here, well then we should see the sellers try to run it out a little bit. Now remember what I said about these counter trend trades. Don't let them blind you to a with trend opportunity. That whole sideways drift does not give me a very comforting feeling either. Taking a pause here near the high or the top end of this gap, 44.15, 44.16. What's interesting is we more or less have the market in a bit of a bind. You see, we've got a lot of active selling here at the top. We've got active buying right down here. You could, I suppose, bracket this whole range and you could buy above and you could sell below. Now, I don't have the OCO function on the Trailblazer, but you could use your OCO function on your trade manager and set up your trade this way. So we're essentially looking for either the sellers or the buyers to break out. Who's the stronger of the two? And it's always whoever controls the last swing. Well, right now it's the buyers because they control the last swing. If the market pivots here and starts heading lower, well, then it's the sellers. Then it's going to be up to the buyers to try to recover the market. If they can't, well, then the sellers will force it down. See, right now the sellers are doing their best to try to knock prices down, trying to defend their 44.18 area. Here come the buyers. Look at that buying going on. They're chewing through some orders. Here come the sellers. Oh gosh, what an even battle this is. And look at that, the sellers just chewing through those orders. Chewing, chewing, chewing. Here come the buyers now. Let's see whether or not that produces any follow through. My goodness, they're evenly matched. 44.15, 44.16. What a tipping point. And you can tell from the width of that bar, it confirms what we were seeing. Look at all the volume that went through on that bar. Come on, sellers. So right now, we need to see this bar control or close low to prove that the sellers have control, in which case they might make a run. Oh, no, here come the buyers again. Wow. All right. Somebody is going to dip their toe in the water here and see what's on the other side of this high. And we'll see whether or not there's any follow through there. or not. Ooh. The sellers are frantic. Oh, they're trying. Oh, there come the buyers. Oh, look at that. The seller's just laying it on. Gold looking a little bit more bullish, or starting to look a little bit more bullish. Here's gold now on the Falcon. So you can see a possible trend change on gold. But for the most part, gold has been drifting sideways, more or less sideways this morning. Oh, look at that. Matching highs with the high right here. What a tug of war. Crude oil giving us a rule of three type trade. We've got 1, 2 signals. It's hard to say at this point whether this is the retest of the low. Normally we like to see something a little bit more substantial, something that resembles a real price swing. But if prices fail here and come back and give me one more signal, I might be inclined to try to buy gold again. Or crude. I got gold on the brain now. All right, so we got filled on the long side. We'll cancel our other order. And we will enable our stops. Not the breakout I was hoping for. Normally, when you see a real well-established high or low area break, you get that quick follow-through. You get that boom, 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 as the sellers are forced to vacate their short positions. Okay, that could be a little problematic. I think if we see this bar finish bullish, finish on the top, I'm going to adopt a more aggressive stop strategy. Come on, buyers, where'd you go? Come on. Come on. Here, we'll give it a little nudge with the mouse. Sometimes that helps. Come on, get up there. No, wrong way. Let's go. Oh, brother. Did everybody go home? I know it's a short work week, but really? All right, well, let's just throw that on the shelf for now. We can obviously nix that order, or at least for now. Not liking the lack of follow through here, not liking it at all. All right, if this bar is even moderately bullish, I'm going to roll my stops in below that bar. I don't feel like giving them very much room here. As I do believe our upward momentum has entered a sideways drift. I'm not sure we're going to see much in the way of a retracement here, but no, get away from there. Um, we may not see much in the way of a retracement, but we may end up getting stuck in this sideways range, which, I don't want for obvious reasons. All right, here come the sellers. They're trying to force the market lower. A little breakout was a trap. The buyers are trying, but I don't know. Well, obviously, if it fails here, now that we've got this little bit of another tug of war bar, if you will, if it fails at 44.15, it's probably going to head lower. Again, not a full out reversal, but it would probably take out these lows here, which is why I have my stop in tighter. We've put in a rather strong rally this morning. It does look as though the day will finish on a bullish note, but it's this sideways drift that I'm concerned about. Oh, thanks, Jim. The advanced decline a little bit stronger still, 1100 on the buy, 1680 on the sell. So the buyers continuing to gain momentum. Yesterday's high was somewhere around here, I think, around the 44.22 mark. Come on. maybe, just maybe, we caught a little bit of a break here. Our stops are still handy. We're not quite to a break-even position just yet. I may make it tighter still. There we go. Close enough. Oops. All right, so we hit our break-even trigger, and now we're flirting with our profit target. Whew, look at that. That's crazy. So we hit our profit target, and I'm running a very tight stop here. As we get back toward yesterday's highs, we may see the market flinch once again. This is why trend is so important too. I know I highlighted a point where we could sell the market if it broke down, but really, if the market has a trend, you can almost blindly buy into the market in an uptrend or sell into a market in a downtrend, and you'll probably make out okay. Jim says the oil market and the YM are in sync with each other. Oh, crude oil did put in a good push, didn't it? Jim says crude oil went pretty much vertical. So, it doesn't help us right now, but that was apparently our rule of three style signal right here. Crude made a nice little run up. If the trend change is in fact going to hold, which I suspect it will, I do believe we have seen a bottom in crude oil. We can expect a drift back into the trading band or somewhere near the hard edge, and perhaps another buy signal to come out of that. So not to panic if you're a little bit behind on that particular trade. Well done, Tony. Tony says he's 4 for 4 with 2 break evens. Nicely done. That last NQ Hawk trade took too long, he says. I'm done for the day and switching to Sim. Yeah, the momentum has certainly dried up a little bit here. And I'm still thinking there's going to be some sort of reset through the day here. There's going to be some sort of profit taking. The day is obviously bullish, but you just can't help but think that we're running out of line. Kind of like that fish on the end of the line. We're kind of running out of room. Our leash is getting a little bit short. I'm not sure we're going to see any more real quality signals the rest of this morning session. The afternoon may loosen up a little bit. All right, well, here they're coming again, trying to, maybe check out the hard edge here. So we've got a rather extended cloud on the Raptor. The buyer's just chewing through those orders, but if we don't see any follow through, see, we're seeing the buyers chew through the orders here. We need to see some follow through. Right now, the sellers, the needle's still quite bearish. There they go. Okay, so it looks as though the buyer's still maintaining control of the NASDAQ market. What would happen if that dial kept going hard over to the buy side and holding and holding and holding, and you didn't see the follow through? That means the sellers are absorbing all those buy orders. It's a little bit different than seeing them chew through the orders. See here, we'll follow it because there's not much else going on. There's two things that can happen with this dial. First off, you see the buyers, well, we'll concentrate on the buyers. Obviously, the same thing will be true of the sellers. But if you see the buyers chew through the orders, you should see the bars advancing as a result. If they do not, that means the sellers are absorbing all that buying pressure. That for every sell or for every buy order that's coming up, the sellers are matching it, matching it, matching it. And the buyers, in spite of their effort, can't move the market higher. Well, what do you think is going to happen after that? That's right. It's going to start heading lower. So when you're watching the dial on your Geiger counter, that's something to keep in mind. Like back here, when this signal developed, there's no question the dial went hard over to the buy side like this, but the bars also started advancing as the buyers continually chewed through the next layer of orders. But look at what's happening now. The dial is hard over, and it's holding, it's holding, it's holding. Why are we not advancing? Now, I know things have slowed considerably, but still, that's giving me a little cause for concern. And maybe it's just going to take longer to sort itself out, just like it did through here. You know, we bought on the breakout. We had to sit it out for, about 10 minutes or so. It may just be the lack of momentum. Oh, and there they go. All right. Well, there's that follow through. So it's obviously a little bit delayed today as the buyers still obviously in control of the session. And I think we're going to close up the room here for the morning. Crude has made a rather substantial move higher, so I'm looking for a retest, a little bit of a pullback there that I can look at buying. Gold still sideways. The Nasdaq obviously on a tear higher, but I am scared to buy it at these levels. Not because it's a improbable level. The NQ's been much higher than 44, 24, 25. Just that given today's strong uptrend, we've been trending since the open. So we opened here, nice move higher. You just know somewhere it's going to try to reset at least a little bit. All right, you guys, be careful. Tomorrow, a reminder, we're at the open house room. So I hope to see you guys there. And yeah, well, we'll see what the market gives us then. Today was a good day, though. No complaints today. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.